to the Edenton Town Council regular meeting for November 10th, 2025. I'll call the meeting to order. And the first order of business, if you'll join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next agenda item is our invocation, and Craig Miller is going to give us that tonight.
Let us bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather together at tonight's Town Council meeting, let us seek guidance and wisdom from a higher power. We pray for a productive and harmonious meeting where our decisions serve the common good and reflect justice and compassion for all the citizens of the Edenton community. Bestow upon the council members and town staff the knowledge to effectively address concerns and resolve issues for the benefit of the people of Edenton. We pray, dear Lord, for your help to overcome barriers that divide us, and that the power of the Holy Spirit will fill us all with your love and grace. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Councilman Miller. Good job. Before we move to our next agenda item, which is public comment, Corey Gooden's got a special introduction he'd like to make.
Mayor, thank you. I wanted to introduce to the council admin assistant that's upstairs on the town hall, Susan. Not if you will come up in just a minute so we can get a face for your name. At the last meeting, we discussed opening a temporary position for the administrative assistant as we were working through the public information officer update. Wanted to introduce Susan to the council and mayor and the general public. She will be a very friendly face.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome.
So I'm 6 days in. Be kind.
Thank you, Corey. Our next agenda item is public comment. There will be two sections there. Public comment will be taken tonight. The public comment that we are at on the agenda at this point in time is public comments on general matters. Our next agenda item is a public hearing on a proposed text amendment to establish a new zoning district in town. If you are here to speak on that particular issue, we'll just ask you to hold your comments until you're invited to come forward at that time on that particular specific issue. So at this time, the floor will be open to general public comment. I'd like to remind those that aren't regular attendees that comments are limited to 3 minutes. We would ask that you identify yourself as you come forward and limit your comments to 3 minutes. The first person that signed up is Lisa Laws.
Hello, everyone, audience, and members of the town council. I'm here to talk about a disappointing situation that I hope can be rectified. I wrote letters to all of you and also to the county commission, and also apparently was just delivered today by the administrative assistant to the partnership. But since there are members on the partnership from the town council and also from the county commission, I hope that you might have seen my letters before. What I was bringing up was the beauty, the peace, and the lack of stress in this town and why we moved here. We contribute to the town's economic basis. We contribute to the public perception of Edenton, and we hope to continue to do that. As you mentioned in the convocation, having a compassion for other humans was something that I didn't necessarily feel when I found out about the public gun range being a possibility. It was a news article that was posted in our neighborhood on our Facebook page. I hope that in the future, the communications about important things, whether you're on the county commission, the partnership, Edenton Chewan partnership, or the town. Perhaps you will think of the people who don't go on Facebook, the people who may not have an internet connection, the people who don't go to a website to learn important things. There's a lot of senior citizens here. There's a lot of people with a wide variety of economic situations. And I think we need to think about all of them. People with health conditions like myself. I have epilepsy, AFib, type 2 diabetes from being a stage 4 cancer survivor. I'm going to a lung biopsy next Friday at Duke. I do not enjoy being in my yard and hearing gunshots every day. I don't care if it's 1 hour, 5 hours, however many it is. The police range being used for the sheriff and the police, we totally support, my husband and I. I support the infrequent use of it. And the last thing I'll say is, all of you, including the partnership, I hope, they might have taken an oath, but there was an oath taken to protect your citizens in all of our needs, including health, happiness, and quality of life. I'd really like to hope that that is always considered when there are situations that may not be good for your local citizens. And that's all.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ed Stiver. Ed Stiver?
Stiver works usually.
Stiver, okay. Thank you.
Good evening, Ed Stiver. I live out in Edenton Bay Plantation. I'm not a Edenton town citizen, but mostly what reason I'm here tonight is perception of trust. The shooting range has been, I guess, talked about here for months, if not a year. And people in the partnership have told me, I've asked repeatedly, they can't talk about it. There's nothing they can talk about, it's confidential. But when I look at their bylaws, Article 2, Item 12, Item K, they're supposed to have a transparency, just like the town and county have open transparency clauses in their bylaws and the state statutes. And I'm just not feeling that with the statute issue that happened earlier this year and the shooting range now, that we're not getting the honesty and the trust and the transparency from our government bodies that we should expect. And that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Karen Hatfield.
Hi, I'm Karen Hatfield. I've been very emotional since this. I found out I live 0.2 of a mile from the shooting range now, and I totally support the law enforcement shooting range. We've got the airport, we've got the military helicopter that flies by. Everybody's accepted that. The problem is the full-time gun range with every day, all day gunfire, and sometimes at night. This man that wants to buy it has several times changed the operating hours because depending on negative input. I don't trust him if he gets in there, if he's gonna be having it longer. I've had a lot of loss. My husband died 10 years ago mowing the lawn. It was sudden. We were both gonna come here to be with my daughter, but he died in the middle of it, so I came anyway by myself. The thing that broke me was my grandson who died in a drowning May 2024. So ever since the funeral, they took his little blue casket on a fire truck to the cemetery. And I came home and I've been there ever since. I have a hard time leaving. That's my safe place, my refuge. And I feel like if you have a full-time gun range with shooting is not something I like with gunfire. And I know there's plenty of people that have had struggles and losses and they can't handle it. I used to be a strong person, but it broke me. I never thought life would do that to me. So please hand it back to you guys and give us some peace of mind and leave my safe place the way it is. It really affects more people than what you think, and I know I'm not the only one. So I'm begging you, please have them give it back to you guys so we can have it as is. We already deal with enough. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry to hear about your losses. Next is Lynn Parton.
Good evening, Mayor High and council members. My name's Lynn Parton. I live at 209 Montpelier Drive. Our home is about a mile as a crow flies from the shooting range. Al and I have lived there for a little over 4 decades. Yes, we do hear the gunshots. Quite clearly, actually, when law enforcement uses it. It's not pleasant. Our dog is terrified, but we've never complained. We support the law enforcement using it infrequently. We are strongly opposed to a public gun range operating 5 to 7 days and some nights during the week. Who would really want to hear gunshots on a daily basis and into the night? Please think of the children that are growing up hearing gunshots, that would possibly be hearing gunshots, especially on the weekends, Saturday when families are together and home. Not only children, but there are veterans that live in the area with PTSD. Quite a few neighborhoods will be affected by the shooting range. Cape Colony, Edenton Bay Phase 2, Montpelier Association, which includes Montpelier, Bella Vista, and Horniblow Point, Country Club Drive, and some citizens from Mulberry Hill spoke at the commissioners' meeting. Please hear our concerns and vote to take the property back for use by law enforcement only. Thank you.
Linda Sutton.
Good evening, I'm Linda Sutton. I live at 532 Soundside Road, 2/10 of a mile from the proposed full-time shooting range. So thank you for giving me the chance to speak this evening. I stand here as a lifelong resident of Edenton, North Carolina, someone who has built a home, a life, and a sense of peace in this town. My neighborhood is not just a collection of houses, they are our homes, where many of us finally exhale after long work days. It's a quiet corner of a place that prides itself on being one of the South's prettiest, most welcoming towns. The proposed sale allowing a daily gun range across from our residential area is deeply concerning. The daily noise alone is enough to change the character of our daily lives. Gunfire is not just a background sound that you can tune out. It cuts through the walls of your home and destroys your peace. It interrupts rest. It makes your once enjoyable outdoor leisure time stressful, turns the simple act of sitting on the porch into something you brace for instead of savoring. Many of us work long hours. I teach 7th grade English full time, and I have a second job as well. I carry a lot of my work home with me, as many other teachers do. Quiet is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's how we reset, rejuvenate, and we're ready to go for our students the next day. It's how I prepare lessons, grade assignments, communicate with parents. The peace and quiet keeps our homes as places of rest and recovery. A gun range operating daily near our houses would steal that from us. There's also the impact on property value. Our homes are our biggest investment. We have saved for, we pour time and energy and resources into, and we trusted that they would hold their value. Placing a gun range near them threatens that stability. No resident should have to bear that risk. I know Edenton cares about its people. I've lived here my whole life, I know that. We take pride in thoughtful decisions and in protecting the character and the safety of our town. This issue is no different. Approving the sale does not serve the families who live here. It does not strengthen our community. It puts a burden on residents who simply want to enjoy the peace that brought them to this area and has kept lifelong residents like myself. I urge you to stand with us, honor the voice of the people who live, work, and anchor their lives in this neighborhood. Please do not allow the sale to move forward. Thank you.
Next, Hal Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of Town Council. My name is Hal Murray. I live at 112 West Queen. The town's resolution of intent to permanently close a portion of South Mosley Street, as listed on the agenda today, is, in my opinion, a thinly veiled attempt to give away public land to the property owners to the east and west for this portion of South Mosley Street. These properties, 199 and 201 Blount Street, already have enjoyed the exclusive and private use of approximately 0.2 acres of town property for some time now. This nearly 1/4 acre of town property should be made into a town park, given the viewscape alone. The property owners to the east and west of this part of South Mosley Street already have more than 100 feet of waterfront. Is this not enough? There are 5 streets in Edenton running north and south to the water. South Mosley is one of them. I think the town of Edenton would like to hear directly from these property owners on the east and west of this town property to learn when the makeover occurred, giving the impression that this town property is a shared driveway. Learning from these same property owners why they feel entitled to this gift is also of interest. Then the issue of back taxes on the personal and private use of town property lingers. No, the end of South Mosley Street that goes to the water is one of the gems of Edenton and should not be gifted to the affluent and influential members of the town. Town property is for the use and pleasure of all members of the community. Mr. Gooden, how and why is this action, quote, in the public interest per the resolution of intent? That's part 2 of the whereas in the resolution, and I'll read part of it. Whereas the council finds it in the public interest to consider the permanently closing of this portion, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murray.
Yes, sir.
Next, Jonathan Tobias. Jonathan?
Good evening, Your Honor, Mayor High, and town councilors of Edenton. Thank you for making space on the agenda for open comments and your consideration of this serious issue. I'm here along with a group of neighbors to ask you to reacquire from the Chowan-Edenton Partnership the firing range in question. We want you to do this to prevent the proposed sale of a private to a private developer. As you know, the proposed development will enormously expand the time and frequency of gunfire in our Soundside neighborhood. We have no problem at all with the gun range in its current usage. We respect our law enforcement officers and we expect them to use the range for training and preparedness. We also encourage the police department's oversight and administration of the firing range for private use. But what we do oppose is the proposed expansion from gun range use of several times per month to, in the proposal's own language, to 6 days per week and 7 hours per day. In a conservative estimation, that is a 20-fold increase over present usage. No residential area in Chowan County is subjected to that level of gunfire. Many of us, like my wife and me, we moved into this area for quiet. As the Edenton-Chowan Partnership says in its own website, whether you are looking for a quiet place to relax and unwind, or a lively community where you can meet new people and make friends, Edenton and Chowan County have something for everyone. When we moved into the Soundside area, we were well aware of the occasional sounds from the firing range and aircraft at the airport. That was okay. But most of the time, what is the sound? It's the sound of the leaves in the trees, lawnmowers, and the laughter of children and pets. That's a far cry from the constant noise of the city that many of us escape from. I'm asking you to follow your Christian sensibilities and to think of us as neighbors who have enjoyed a quiet, calm neighborhood on Soundside where we live. Many of us are retirees. Some of us are military veterans who suffer from PTSD. Some of us suffer from epileptic seizures. A lot of us volunteer for service right here in Edenton and the whole area. All of us have grown to love the quiet and the beauty of this spot in Chowan County, right beside the Sound. Please do the neighborly thing. Preserve the current arrangement under the police department oversight. Once the quiet is gone, we can never recover it again. This is the silence that defines Soundside. May we keep it, may we guard it gently, and may we preserve the stillness that makes this place a haven for those who call it home. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Jay Angelucci.
Angelus.
Okay. What's your first name, sir?
Joseph.
Joseph. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak, and more importantly, thank you for scheduling a vote to potentially send the Edenton Channel Partnership a letter requesting returning of the existing training facility back to the town. My wish and hope is that the town will proceed with the letter. At this point, I'd like to take a couple of minutes to discuss what would happen if the partnership does not return the property. Currently, the town does not have a mechanism to issue permits, license, zone, or approve design construction for an outdoor range. Nothing is within the current town ordinances. Protecting our town's safety, environment, and quality of life is paramount. Ordinance for a for-profit open outdoor gun range would be necessary because unlike private ranges or commercial properties with lower impact activities, they combine high impact risk of firearms with a profit motive, which could potentially incentivize cutting corners on essential safeguards. I'd like to take a couple of moments to discuss public safety and welfare. The town would have an ability to issue ordinances that will protect against stray projectiles by certifying range design specifications, the requirement of high impact berms to ensure that nothing leaves the facility, and more importantly, it allows us to, or the town to establish proximity buffers. These zoning regulations would require minimum distances and setbacks from residential areas in the area, farms, neighbors.
Daycare centers.
Yes.
Churches.
Yeah, churches. I mean, part of it is that, oh, and more importantly, current residents of the industrial park, and make sure those buffers are going to be safe for use and noise. It would also give the town the ability to regulate operating hours. This would be important to help, I guess, maintain some of the noise, but more importantly, it'll fix the hours of the operation of the range, and it would allow for use for designated daylight activity, and this would help with visibility and safety concerns. You could also, as a ordinance, require the on-site certification of a range safety officer by the operator. So this way we are comfortable with the fact that the guns will in fact be utilized in the proper manner. And then more importantly, making sure that the operator, from a city ordinance perspective, has the ability to basically cover any type of liability insurances that would be required. Part of it is that, these are high-risk activities, and as such, the financial and legal costs of these events of an accident would protect the town from any uninsured damages. So, the ability, you can manage that via an ordinance, and then, more importantly, you can require the operator to provide due diligence. You can establish minimum requirements regarding the financial strength of the operator, as well as evidence of any successful, or more importantly, unsuccessful operations similar type of businesses of the operator. This will give us a level of comfort that not only are they in there, but they have the ability to deliver at the end of the day.
And Judge, if you could start wrapping up.
Oh, my apologies.
The bell ringing was your 3 minutes.
Oh, my
I'll give
apologies.
you the opportunity to finish up the.
Okay,
appreciate
well,
your comments.
additionally, we want to consider things like caliber of the weapons, noise pollution, environmental concerns, and basically making sure that the business would comply with any type of zoning regulations, that there's adequate parking, that basically a site plan review by city engineers to make sure it in fact is safe, and basically provide, more importantly, a local vetting process by via special permit as part of that to basically allow public hearings to gather feedback from the neighbors, and basically establish permitting and inspection cycle by town officials to make sure that the operation is in compliance. Again, thank you for the extra time and my apologies.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on our list is E. Lambert. And Ms. Lambert, what is your first name?
It's Erin.
I thought that's what it was.
Good evening,
Okay.
Mayor High and Council, Chief LaFawn. I'm here tonight to talk about the proposal on the gun range. I'm a gun owner. I support gun rights. And my daughter actually learned to shoot on that range because she was dating an Edenton police officer at the time. All right? She was accompanied by a police officer to utilize their practice facility. And that's how we should look at this. It is a practice facility for law enforcement. It's not a gun range. It's not really open. And as you look at it that manner, our sheriff's department uses it, our police department uses it, and these are trained people, we hope. And what is being proposed is a change in usage. I know they're trying to say, or the new owner, proposed owner is trying to say it's not a change in usage, but it is. Because right now I did a lot of research on the deeds for those lots right there, 23, 24, 25, and 26. And all of those lots are zoned for industrial. They're zoned IW. All right, there is nothing on the lots for the gun range that says that there was a non-conforming zone issued for it, that there's a special circumstances use. You know, what seems to have happened is when the military gave it over to the town, that it was basically the police and the sheriff and stuff departments started using it as part of the county and the town. It became their training facility, but there's never anything formally put in place to designate it as anything. All right, so currently it is a police training facility. So we're talking about a change in use to basically a public-private gun range, which as proposed doesn't meet any of the criteria of any range that I've ever been on. And since my ex-brother-in-law had a federal firearms license, I've shot a lot of weaponry. Don't really want to, but you know, for a weekend it's fun. That area is not zoned for this. The businesses are going to suffer. The residents are going to suffer. It's not enough of a distance to shoot, frankly, pistols with, unless you really know what you're doing. But it's definitely not a far enough distance to shoot rifles, and especially the type of rifle that the police carry, or an even 50 calibers, as the proposed owner is saying he'll allow to shoot up to there, which, if you haven't heard a 50 caliber shot, sounds like a damn cannon going off. Multiple rounds, multiple damn cannons going off. So there's that. All right, the hours. Right now, sporadic usage, we hear it. I live at 116 Horny Glow Point, all right? I can hear it, when I first moved here, I thought it was hunting season. I'm like, "Oh, what the hell are you hunting right now?" It wasn't hunting season. It was the police doing some training. And, which is fine. Sporadically, it's fine. As long as it's the police and the sheriff's department. You know, changing the use, which you are actually under law, would require a public hearing. ECP doesn't believe that. They believe that they can do a non-conforming zoning change, not hold a public hearing, because they're just turning a range over to a private group. It's not what's happening here. So under statute, and it would open up the town, the county, the new owner to private nuisance suits, noise challenges, all kinds of things, because it will no longer be protected in the manner that it is currently under the laws that changed, I think, in 1994 in the state of North Carolina. I know there's a few attorneys on here, so, but everyone specializes in something else.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not an attorney.
Begin wrapping up, if
All right.
you will, just so we can keep
Okay.
moving.
Where are the economic impact statements? All right, the studies on the waterways, the wildlife, the noise, the birds. We are in a bird sanctuary for Cape Colony, Montpelier Wreck, on all that. We are a bird sanctuary. We see bald eagles flying overhead and fishing out of the sound. All right, they're not going to stay. You're going to disrupt their life. The EPA, have there been studies for the impact of the expansion of this?
Ms. Lambert, if you could, we'll
All right.
wind it up.
So
Thank you for your
which
comments.
state departments have been, basically, which state departments have been brought into this? And then in wrapping up, frankly, you need to take this property back. It needs to stay police and sheriff. And if it isn't, then you need to get a hell of a bond from Mr. Haight to protect the city and the county.
Thank you.
All right?
Appreciate your comments. Next, we've got Deanna Klingel.
That's me, but I may be in the wrong venue because this has nothing to do with the fire range. So, should I come at a different time?
Well, this isn't just
This,
on the fire range.
this is, yes, come forward.
Okay.
You're here to speak about the proposed transfer of the firing range?
No, she
Okay,
said not.
no, this is in general comments, yeah, you're not
Okay,
limited,
all right.
like Mr. Murray spoke
All right.
about something
Well,
earlier,
I
yeah.
thought that
Come on
was it.
forward, yeah.
No, my name is.
You're in the right place at the right time.
Appreciate that, thank you.
You're very welcome.
My name is Deanna Klingel, and I live at 206 East Queen Street, which is directly across the street from the senior center and next door to a vacant lot. And those are the two things, I have two, they're not really comments, I have questions that I need to have addressed. Next to me, the vacant lot, we have between us a very wide buffer of trees. And some are very nice trees. The vines, which came from the lot, that I tried to control for many years, I did. And then in the last year, every year they got worse and worse. The vines that were growing through these trees were, number one, killing the trees, and they were bringing all of the trees into our driveway and laying on our Airbnb roof. So I took pictures and I sent it, I took pictures of the current situation to the administrative assistant of that lot. No one lives there, they live in the Elizabeth City. So they came out to take the vines down. They brought a crew with all the proper equipment. They worked for less than 30 minutes and they decided it was too difficult. And so what they did was take everything. They took all the trees, all the shrubs, all the sap, everything, and left it in horrendous conditions, stumps and grapevine roots. I mean, just, it's awful. And then when they finished, they brought a dump truck of sand and poured sand everywhere. So now you look out and it looks sort of like a desert. It was a very beautiful piece of property. So we've, on our side, have tried to restore this in the last few weeks. And I'll say we've only gone from the sidewalk halfway back, and it has cost us just under $1,000 to restore it so that we could plant more trees. And I got the list from the tree committee, but what I've understood now is that in the historic district, if you take down a tree, you have to return a tree. And I don't know if that's true, and I don't know if it's enforceable. But I think I need to know that. I can't spend any more money on this. And then the other thing that's happened is that without this tree buffer, suddenly the big security lights that are on their buildings, it's directly into our house, directly. And across the street from us is the senior center. When we first moved there, it had ordinary parking lot lights. And when they changed out the bulbs, they put these high-intensity ones, just like he has. And so the front of our house now has beacons into the windows. And coming in the side and into the back, we have his 3 security lights, which are also high intensity. So when you walk into a room that doesn't yet have a light on, you have to go in like this because it is blinding. So my question is, who can do something about this? And is it something you can do something about?
What we do when residents come and speak before us and the concerns require some research and have some questions that we can't answer on the spot, we assign that to our town manager, Corey Gooden, and he researches it, and he comes back at our very next regular meeting, which would be our regular meeting in December, and provides an answer not only to you and the general public. So you're more than welcome to come back to our next meeting, and we'll have a report for you. And if you can't make it, we'll make sure that Mr. Gooden reaches out to you and gives you a report in answer to those questions. But that's our normal procedure when we need to look into things.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
How large were the trees around? Were they big?
Oh, well, they've left stumps that are, I mean, there were maples, there was a southern magnolia that was very, very, these are all tall trees, 20 feet or more. Eastern red cedar was there, and interesting, there were no crepe myrtles, but just about everything else. There were a couple of conifers, very large dogwood, which was right by the sidewalk, but the vine that got into that one was poison ivy, and it hung down to the sidewalk, so I did clip that, but when he told me if he caught me doing it again, he was going to shoot me, so I stayed away. So, that's how it goes.
He actually said that to you?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I would get underneath, and I've clipped off the green thorny vines. I've done that for several years. But he told me he needed the vines for privacy. And I'm talking about a complete canopy of just vines. I couldn't do it anymore. So be careful what you wish for, because I got rid of the vines. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Ron Haight.
Mayor and council members, thank you for your time. My name is Ron Haight. For 10 years, I served as federal law enforcement officer in a variety of roles. I have advanced weapons training and oversaw a federal facility at different shooting ranges. As an auxiliary duty to that, I was certified in hazardous waste operations and DOT hazardous emergency response. As I've taught active shooter response training, today I work as a civil engineer for the federal government. I supervise the building of safe, environmentally responsible infrastructure. I have submitted a proposal to modernize the existing shooting range, which is operated by the town and located in the industrial complex adjacent to the airport, making it a safe, secure environment responsible for residents of Edenton and those living in nearby county areas alike. When I moved here, I had no intentions of improving, managing, or owning a shooting range. It's not why I came here. But when I visited the shooting range for my concealed carry class, it was clear that the site needed serious improvement. Frankly, I wouldn't want to live next to the range as it is today. There's no security access control. The impact berm is unmanaged and outdated. The range does not meet modern safety standards, as one might expect by a municipally operated property. Equally important is the long-standing legacy lead problem. Without responsible management, legacy lead threatens the environment, nearby residents, and the people who train there. Given my background, I felt compelled to help fix this. My proposal is straightforward. Improve an 80-year-old shooting range. Modern safety measures, meaningful sound mitigation, and responsible lead management. While preserving law enforcement access. This is not an expansion, it's a replacement of an unmanaged site with a controlled, compliant one. I have 5 pillars: safety, security, environmental stewardship, risk management, and community. Modern range designed to prevent accidents and ensure responsible firearm handling. Security, controlled access with surveillance to prevent unauthorized and irresponsible use. Environmental stewardship, regular lead cleanup, recycling, and soil stabilization. Risk management, addressing potential ricochet hazards in the berm, dangerous noise, and minimize exposure to lead. Providing a safe, responsible, professionally managed facility that serves the law enforcement and the public responsibly. The location is appropriate and deserves this upgrade. This parcel has functioned as a public shooting range and a law enforcement shooting range for generations. It sits beside an active airport and lies within the industrial park, both of which are posed to only get busier with future development. The property must remain an active shooting range or it must be cleaned up. That cleanup is millions of dollars. I recognize that the county neighborhoods across Soundside Drive, and I take their voices and concerns seriously. I've had conversations with some of them. We may not agree on things, but I'm applicable and willing to talk to anybody. I've seen the signs. I get it. I do. That's why safety, sound mitigation, and lead reclamation are crucial and one of my top priorities. Concrete and earth sidewalls will contain fire and direct sound upwards, not outwards. As an example, when you drive down a highway, you see the concrete noise barrier walls. Those do the same exact thing. They're quite common and they reduce noise. Under my plan, law enforcement access and youth sporting team access is guaranteed. A dedicated 50-yard training bay that would accompany 10 to 12 officers at a time, secured by a 75-year lease at $1 a year with first right to the law enforcement officers and their departments. No pre-approval is required. Routine maintenance, berm work, cleanup, repairs, as well as all legal documentation, all assumed safety risks will be my responsibility, not the town taxpayers. To be clear, ignoring responsible maintenance and modernization of the existing property leaves an unsecured and poorly managed range in place, one which lacks proper safety procedures, sound mitigation, security, and lead management. A choice like this can carry physical, legal, and health risks and liabilities. As the elected representative of the town of Edenton, you have your option to now acquire the land and take ownership, of which I will renounce my purchase offer to the board, or to move forward with my proposal. We all share the same goal: a quieter, safer, less toxic environment, and the range that is less of a burden and more of an asset to the town, the officers who protect it. I'm committed to transparency, open communication, and ongoing cooperation with the community and the residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, John Mitchner. John, you want to speak?
Mr. Mayor, Town Council, my hearing aids have gone kaput, so I hope not to repeat what you've already heard. But I would share one idea that I really want you to look at, and that is, I remember several months ago when this council had a very lively debate about putting motion sensors on stoplights, intersections, for getting license plates for people that may have not been doing the right thing. I think comparable technology might be apropos for the shooting range issues that are before us. So you've got name, indisputable ID as to who does what or is accused or thought to have done something, and that perhaps that will aid us in the issues before us. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next, Deborah Miller. Deborah?
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, thank you for the time. I am again here in terms of the monument and requesting that it does not get re-erected. I still believe it is a white supremacy situation in this town. But, again, I'm just asking it does not get reelected. In regard to the group who is anti-gun range here, I have to somewhat agree with them in terms of it being a bad situation. I've lived on Hawthorne Road for over 40 years now, and I'm right off of Paradise Road. And I still, to this day, remember the first season of dove hunting and how freaked out I got by all the gunshots I was hearing, what have you, that were coming off from that area. So I can understand the situation, and I do hope that you do consider their questions and what have you tonight. Thank you.
Ms. Miller. Appreciate it. Yes, thank you all for your comments.
Mayor,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
a retired special operations colonel. I didn't know about the sign-up list. Could I literally have 2 minutes?
Okay,
Thank
just
you,
come
sir.
forward, and once you get up here, identify yourself, and
Thank you so
we'll
much.
put you on the timer.
I am Bill Ross, retired Air Force colonel, special operations. I've lived here 6 years, 215 Montpelier Drive. I can hear the gunfire all the time. I am one of these PTSD people. I'm trained to go into the fight, so when I hear gunfire, my instincts, PTSD, are to go where it's happening. But with all that said, I'd first like to recognize all the beautiful people. It's amazing how eloquent everyone was and what they did. But most seriously, I'm here to talk about ballistics. I'm here to talk about the technical effects. I've given this out. Can I give this to you, or is there a lot?
Yeah, hand it to Mr. Turner there, and he'll pass it
Okay.
on.
So, long and the short of it, long rifle, handgun. The statistics, as you can see, a handgun, effective range, that means you can kill somebody if you're a good shot. But the ballistic range of a handgun is 1,500 yards. The church is 700 feet away. I was talking to someone today that they said they found a bullet hole in the roof of the church. So we have guns that can shoot over to the church and possibly into Colony. And also, I'd like to pull your attention to the long rifles. Maximum effective range, 500 yards. The plan is to let people shoot rifles 100 yards. That means these rifles, all some wacko has to do is aim over the berm because there's no roof and spray Colony. And anybody that's been in combat, you will know that if you can't shoot at the effective range and the bad guys are on the other side, you spray the air hoping to get a kill. So, with that said, the most important thing we have not really talked about is the ballistic range of these weapons. So, that's all I wanted to talk about. I've been in 5 combat units, so I kind of have a feeling for what it's like. So, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank each of you for coming forward tonight and sharing your feelings on the issues that are before the town. Those of you that spoke on the Edenton Police Department firing range acquisition, that will be a matter of new business that will be discussed and possibly voted on tonight later in our agenda. The next agenda item is a public hearing on a proposed text amendment to establish a R3 zoning district here in Edenton. The case number is case number TA-25-04. And at this time, I need to open the public hearing for this case, and public hearing is so open. The first subsection of this agenda item is a presentation of staff reports from Dwayne Wood.
How's everybody doing?
Doing well.
So this is a text amendment. This has been a culmination of work for at least the last 9 or 10 months based on recommendations from council, general public, and also the town approved architects we've been working with for the commercial design standards. So basically with this, it's a review and vote on the proposed text amendment to unify the development ordinance amending Article 9 zoning districts and map to allow R3 zoning within areas defined as medium to high density residential, which in our land use plan occupies R5, R10, and R14, and the town's adopted land use plan and associated zoning map amendments. I've highlighted some of the highlights from this ordinance that would be good to know. This actually went through heavy public involvement, as well as went through the planning board twice before it got here. I just make sure we answered all the questions. But the R3 zoning district allows small lot residential development within areas identified as medium to high density residential in the town's adopted land use plan. There's really 4 purposes behind this. Promote compact walkable neighborhoods, support a range of housing types including single family, duplexes, and cottage courts. Encourage infill and redevelopment in appropriate areas, and ensure compatibility with surrounding development through design and development standards. One of the things in their second meeting that went through, and most of the definitions were straight out of what's existing in the UDO. The only addition was that cottage court definition. So the applicability of this within areas designated as medium to high residential, where connection to public utilities, that being water and sewer, is available or feasible through either rezoning or as part of a planned residential development overlay subject to town approval. Section 5 goes over the development standards. Minimum lot size now in town is 5. This would bring it to 3. And noting that the reason why this is being reviewed and up for consideration tonight is we were trying to figure out ways to promote affordable housing, and how could we attack that from a land cost perspective because of building prices getting so high. And so this was a culmination of working with some architects and talking with members of the community development block grant we work with through Insight, as well as tons of research on other municipalities throughout North Carolina. So there is a design guidelines section that you can see, infrastructure requirements, public water and sewer. They have to include sidewalks on both sides of the street, comply with the town's stormwater and utility design standards, and provide adequate off-street parking in a minimum of 1.5 spaces per unit for townhouses, 2 spaces for single-family duplex units. And in the historic district, there was a question rose about that. So anything new in the historic district requires a certificate of appropriateness. This would not negate any requirements of the historic design standards. In Section 10 administration, R3 districts may be established via rezoning initiated by a property owner, developer, or the town council following the procedures of Article 20 of the Town of Edenton zoning ordinance. This ordinance shall apply only to areas designated as medium or high density. That's very important for the R5, R10, and R14. Compliance with the ordinance does not exempt a project from other applicable local, state, or federal regulations. As in all the staff reports I give, I provide an analysis. The planning board voted with those 2 meetings and some inserts into it for it to come to town council today. And I pulled some goals and policies out of our land use plan. One being develop and implement strategies to promote regeneration of population growth in the town, establish local development policies to promote rehabilitation of the town's existing housing stock, establish local development policies, programs, and resources to promote increased home ownership in the town. The town will encourage the location of businesses, residential development, and service providers that serve retirees while also creating jobs for younger residents. and the town is supportive of the cottage industry entrepreneurship and will put into place standards that require cottage industries that may have adverse effects such as noise or traffic or neighboring properties to mitigate these effects. I think this was based on that one policy alone. I think we're answering one of the questions that arose in the land use plan and attacking the cottage industry entrepreneurship as well as affordable housing for retirees and young professionals. There's also 2 additional policies, but that's the staff report in a nutshell. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
You're recommending that we pass this text amendment?
Yes, sir. This is about 2 months of work. If something happens and we need to revise the text amendment for some unforeseen reason, then that's always an option as well. So we'll be able to make
As it relates to affordable housing, the theory is the smaller the lot size, the smaller the land cost. The smaller the lot size, the smaller the house that can be built on there, and that'll decrease the cost of the house along with the lot.
Absolutely. So we have a lot of properties in town that do not meet the minimum lot width of 50. We have a lot of 33 houses, so this would help with the setbacks and everything, make it more easier to build your tiny homes, which is only allowable in the R5 zoning district. This would be allowable in the R10 and R14 as well if they wanted to rezone it to R3. So it gives us multiple opportunities to be able to create some sort of affordable housing stock. And on top of that, it's also encouraging infill development in the places that, maybe a house was torn down, something like that. They'll be able to have some more flexibility.
Councilman Miller?
Was you planning board unanimous in their decision?
They were, yes, sir. It's a comprehensive change, and I encouraged it to go through 2 meetings just so that they could digest it and make sure that they could think on it for a month and give me any feedback. So we went through 2 iterations, and this is the product that came out of it.
Were there any existing or prospective projects that you know of that would benefit from this?
Not that I'm aware of. We have talked to some contractors and realtors in the area just to gauge their feelings about it, but I have nothing active as of right now that would, they're excited about it, and there's some potential that could come out of it if it is passed, but I haven't really seen anything that would, like a site plan or anything that we would be coming up, but this meeting may change something, may have something tomorrow, so.
Quick question, it seems like to me, I've been a big proponent of this because like there are areas of town where lots are 33 feet and then we superimpose this R5 over that at a later time. And so if you have a neighborhood that's made up of those smaller lots, then it would almost be incongruent, it wouldn't actually be what it ought to be if you make them have a bigger, I think it's getting back to more letting neighborhoods be what they sort of were laid out to be. I think most really historic progressive towns are doing this.
With the need of housing, any little step we make to help bring in some ideas, no doubt is a positive for us. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Dwayne. Yeah, appreciate your hard work on that. Next, we have public comment on this proposed text amendment, or any member of the general public wish to speak either in favor or against the text amendment as proposed. Okay, Mr. McLaughlin? Although we know you, come forward and identify yourself.
All right. My name's Larry McLaughlin. I live at 118 Butternut Lane. And the comment I wish to make is neither for or against, because I think there's pros and cons that we could all discuss intelligently. But I was in New Orleans some years ago, and I fell in love with the style of architecture that seemed to be congruent throughout each section of town as it grew. There was a similarity in style. And I know this is pie in the sky, but I would like to see some sort of a pattern book of styles that could be built for these smaller houses. My time up? And I'm not sure how that would be done. in certain parts of town, there's more of a colonial flair. In other parts of town, you see the craftsman style or bungalow style. There was some thought about the neighborhoods and the styles that are going in for these smaller houses. We would have something that would fit the flavor of Edenton, the historic nature. You put a small house in there and it's just ordinary. I don't know if we're making anything any better. The goals of this proposal are laudable. However, there are some setbacks to it, but that's not the reason for my comment. But if that could be established in some way, I think it would be a positive step.
Do you think you could lead the way in the county and get some standards?
Well, you know,
pattern books and, I mean, I think that.
Sample, we've had these discussions in the coffee shop, and the county's a different animal. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you.
Only Sample.
Hi, it's Erin Lamb again. I want to talk about this. I didn't realize this was going on, but people here don't know, but I am an architect by education. Haven't used it. But I have been following housing developments for affordable housing for the last several years across the nation. For veterans, you know, small communities within a community and stuff like that. So there's a community in Wilmington that's all for veterans and those underneath. It's all small houses. There's pockets of that going on all over, and there's other towns doing what you're thinking about here in this area, this area. I think it's a great idea. Obviously, there are going to be some concerns and stuff, but it's a great idea because the affordable housing is so necessary here. And I've been trying to figure out a way where, whether I live in the county, I don't live in the town, but I've been trying to figure out a way where I could be involved. And I'm trying to help bring something like that here. So I didn't even know this was going on, because I don't come to town meetings typically. But I'd be very interested in what you guys have going on here. Wish we had a little bit more than just what Dwight was saying, but very well done. And hope you guys can figure this out. If you need help, there's always volunteers in the community.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else like to speak on this particular issue? Okay, I'll close the public comment portion of the public hearing. And at this time, if there are any other town council comments or questions, now would be the time to do that.
Dwayne, during the planning board meetings, was there any discussion of styles that?
The only real thing you'll see in it is design guidelines.
Right.
But styles didn't come, and I would have to look at North Carolina general statute about that. I know you can regulate it within the historic districts and stuff, and HOAs can do it in private developments. I don't know if we can implement anything on a town level that would require someone to do it as a certain style. I think we could promote it and help if someone would give me some direction on that. I'd be happy to kind of explore and see.
Do you mind looking into that? Because I know we've talked about design standards commercially.
Even guidelines.
And also, yeah, if you could look into it, I think it would be good information for us to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but section 7's, you know, cottage courts, it gives that definition. Front porches are encouraged on new construction. Buildings should be oriented toward the street with porches defined. Entryways encouraged, accessory structures, and landscape buffers for incompatible land uses. So kind of, there's nothing really on facade and materials used.
Yeah,
And I think if we ask, you know, Jenny and our consultants, they've done a great job of help steering us in that way, so.
can you look into the legal side of it and Corey then on the consultant side of it, let them know that we've got some interest in that.
One more point. There are many companies that offer plans for smaller homes or pre-builts that range from barn dominiums to cottages to rustic to Elizabethan. So there are plans and stuff out there that can be accessed if you are able to regulate certain styles or stuff. If you want to look at the square footage and everything that you're talking about, There are different companies and different groups that already have a lot of that.
Thank you. And thank you, Larry, for bringing that up also. Okay, any more questions from this side of the room, or any more comments? At this point in time, I would entertain a motion to approve the text amendment to establish an R3 zoning district.
So moved.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, that text amendment passes, and I will close the public hearing on this particular issue. Next, we move into our committee meetings, and the committee meetings that we have tonight are those of the Administrative Committee chaired by Councilman Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, we have 3 items tonight. The first being the social district ordinance and management plan. As you remember, at our last town council meeting held on October 27th, both Jess Chesson and Dwayne Wilton gave presentations on expanding the current locations of the downtown social district and expanding the hours of operations to Monday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Since the majority of the administrative committee is in favor of the social district expansion, at this time I make a motion to approve the revised social district ordinance and management plan.
Okay, we've got a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes. So I think the social district has been going well. One amendment that I would like to make is that it includes hard liquor. Just in my discussion with general public, business owners, and the consensus of council, I don't see a reason why we cannot include that. So
we're talking spirituous liquor.
That's correct. So I don't know how the board feels about it. I think I've spoken to most of you guys about it, but yeah.
I've heard the same
only
thing, Mayor, I've heard people tell me many times, it's so great to carry a mixed drink.
Well, what we could do procedurally, if the movement, the person who proposed that we pass it could amend it, and if that fails, then we could go back to the original amendment. I will say I only vote if there's a tie. I do have some concerns about the geographic boundaries would basically surround the park, and I've got an objection to that I just wanted to let you guys know. But like I said, I don't have a vote unless there's a tie. I don't have a problem with some of the geographic expansion, but I do have a problem with that.
Could we just work that out? I agree with you. Could we just work that out for next time? I mean, is that?
Well, we may want to do that so that we could get more discussion.
We got Chess here, I think, you know, and.
Work what part of it out?
Well, the areas around there,
Are you talking about the locations? Or
yeah, and also I feel like I mean, I'm not saying I'm really against it, you know, against having mixed drinks. I feel like the public ought to be able to weigh in on that, you know, instead of us just adding it in at the last minute.
Well, what we could do, because there's 2 concerns that have been raised,
Yeah.
or one change as proposed by Councilman Costin, and then I raised a concern, you kind of raised a concern. And if we put it, if we know what those concerns are, and we're voicing those now, we've got 2 members of the press here, they're gonna report it, then the people will know, what our concerns are. And then they can come,
bring this up at a later.
and just table it until next,
Well, yeah, if you amended or withdraw your motion, I'll make a motion that we table it for further discussion, and once we have a full council.
Okay, so you have withdrawn your motion, and now Councilman Costin has a motion to table the issue, and we'll discuss it again at our December meeting and at the public comment section. If people want to weigh in on it, they can certainly do so.
And it is nice it's gone well. I mean, I don't think anybody's heard anything but, well, I don't think anybody's heard anything.
Okay, so we've got a motion.
Park that I mentioned to you guys last time.
And I think there's some things that we can do to find a middle ground here, I think, and that'll give us time to talk about it. There's a motion to table. Did we get a second on that?
Second.
Okay. We've got a motion and second to table this issue and revisit it at the December meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, we'll come back and discuss that next time, and that'll give us an opportunity to work on this more. Councilor Miller, the next 2
Second item,
items.
Mayor, is the police lieutenant job description and salary scale update. As of yet, the Management and Personnel Services Group have not determined appropriate job descriptions and salary scales for the 2 new police lieutenant positions. So therefore, I make a motion, we table any approval of this request at this time.
Do we have a second?
Second. I have a question though.
Yeah.
Are we getting rid of the captain position, or what position are we?
Yes, sir. That's what we're gonna do. We got a little feedback from the MAPS group that we're trying to address. They wanted to fine tune a couple of things.
Okay.
Can we let them know either from chief or from you as our manager that we'd really like to get this by December? Did you say that you certainly would like to have this in place by the beginning of the year?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Are they not responding back, or?
They are. They had some concerns with the way it was written up.
Okay.
Yeah, they're responding, it's just not ready to go, but somehow make it clear that we'd like to be able to vote on this in December.
Yes,
Put
sir.
it in place for you by the end of the year, beginning of the year.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Mayor, it's the same thing with item C, Public Information Officer update. The MAPS group has not determined appropriate job classification for that position yet, so if we could table that motion.
You have a motion to table?
I have a motion to table.
Second.
Motion to table, okay.
All in favor of tabling both of these items? First, let's have a vote. We didn't have a vote on the first one. First, let's have a vote on tabling the lieutenant job description and salary scale update. On that, do we have a motion?
I made a motion to table.
Okay, second. And all in favor of tabling that, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we've got a motion and second on the public information officer update piece of that. All in favor of tabling that until our next meeting, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we will table all 3 of those and come back, Chairman Miller, at our December meeting.
That is our.
Okay, thank you very much, Greg. Next, our new business. The first item is the Edenton Police Department firing range acquisition, and I'm going to hand that over to Corey Goodman.
Thank you, Mayor. Following recent consideration of the sale of the local firing range owned by the Edenton Partnership, the town manager.
Excuse me, could you speak up a little? Could you speak up a little? Thank you.
Following recent consideration of the sale of the local firing range owned by the Edenton Partnership, the town manager is recommending that the council consider submitting an official letter requesting ownership of the firing range. Upon closing, the range would be utilized by the town of Edenton's police department and will become part of the local law enforcement training facilities. To start the process, the town council will need to submit an official letter requesting this exchange and ownership of the parcel. If approved by the Edenton Partnership Board, town staff will work with the town attorney on the closing documents. The town manager recommends that council approve the requested letter as presented.
Okay, we have the town manager's report. We had some comments on this earlier. Do we have a motion as it relates to approving and sending such a letter to the partnership?
So moved.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this particular issue?
Regarding the individual that's into purchase, is there any way that we can actually, or can work with the partnership to identify a different parcel to maybe open up a facility of such that we suppose is that an option?
That's an option, so as to keep tonight's.
I'm not for that tonight, though.
Oh, no, not tonight, I'm just saying as a recommendation.
Yeah, to keep it clean tonight.
Yeah.
What is the
We need to vote
recommendation?
on what we have, and then that would certainly be a good idea.
For the same
I just want to say, I love the fact that people get involved and care about Edenton, and I love the fact that y'all all got, excited to express your views, and, when I first took over the seat on the council, people weren't as spirited as they are now, and I think it's really nice. I mean, I know that, I'm totally for this. I think it's the right thing to do. I got the sweetest letter from Lynn Pardon. When I got that letter, I've known her my entire life, and so, I think the last thing we want to do is interrupt any type of peace and quiet and people's enjoyment of this place. And so, you know, taking this back is definitely listening to y'all, and I think it's going to be a good thing for our, you know, the law enforcement, both county and town support that. So, you know, I'm totally in favor of it, and I just really appreciate y'all all coming out. I wish they'd been away. I mean, I think the feeling is we were all planning on doing it. I'm sorry you had to come in and spend a night with us, but we enjoyed it. So
I think you did a fine job in your presentations. It's definitely from the heart. Very well put.
And before I call a vote on this, I would like to say this. I, like Councilman Dixon, I appreciate the public comment. I appreciate your interest in coming and let us know your thoughts. I would like to say something publicly to Ron Hyde. I've said this to him privately. Thank you for your interest in Edenton. Thank you for, 8-9 months of trying to work this out. If I could go back and do it over again, there would be a lot of changes to how we handled it, both for the general public and also not dragging it on so long for you. So I apologize, but when the chief of police of Edenton and the sheriff of Chowan County tell me that they don't want this to happen, and then when neighbors and friends, such as those who came tonight, tell us that they didn't want it to happen, as an elected official, those factors really loom large. And with that being said, I would entertain a motion as to the proposed letter.
So moved.
Got a motion second. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Corey, if you'll get that letter out, I think they want to get the letter before next week. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Next. Y'all don't have to stick around. You're more than welcome. I don't know how much longer we'll be here.
And we'll be calling on you next time to trying to tear down some great
May I
historic sites.
may I say one thing? So many people have talked about the safety of the range as it is now. I would give anything if you all could make an ordinance or a law or a whatever you have to do to perhaps do fencing, high fencing, and a lock gate.
Yeah, we took a lot of notes while everyone was
Thank you.
coming. But thank y'all for being here. And like I said, you're more than free to leave.
The ECP meeting is Thursday.
4
Does the
o'clock.
letter have to go before that?
We're gonna have it there before.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate you listening to us because it really means a lot.
The letter will be to them. It'll be to them. Yes, I said next week.
You said next week, I just wanted to. They anonymously approved some of the letters to the partnership.
They're not approved.
They're gonna send it to the partnership.
So they are in favor of the gun.
Well, they are in favor of yeah, so they're gonna send that letter, that's what yeah, that was, they discussed that at the technical meeting, because
70 years.
Okay, let's call the meeting back to order. If I could, the next agenda item is the Edenton New Market Tax Credit Finance Acquisition Resolution, and I'm gonna hand this over to Corey Good.
Thank you, Mayor. As part of the new market tax credit requirements, the town of Edenton is, one of the next steps is the approval of the authorization resolution that was included in the packet. This resolution authorizes the town to participate in the new market transaction to finance the acquisition, construction, and real property within the town. The execution of certain connecting documents, as well as the acquisition of the property located at 204 Court Street for the project. I do recommend the council approve the resolution as presented. And if there are any further questions from the board, we do have Representative Todd Cruz on via Zoom from Raleigh tonight, in case there are any specifics about this the council may have. But again, this is this will allow the town to continue to move forward with this project.
You want to put it in the motion? Yeah, I'm moving with approve this.
Second, but I have a question, so acquiring, well, let me take back my second, let me make sure I understand first. So we're acquiring a property on Court Street.
Yes.
What's the relevance?
This is the 204 Court Street project that's part of the footprint for the parking structure.
Oh, the backside, the backside,
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
And that's the apartments
Yeah.
connected to it.
Yeah, that's on this side.
Yeah.
I got you. Do you still have the second?
Oh, yeah, it's
Okay.
fine.
Got a motion and second. Are there any other questions or comments?
I think this is a really great, I mean, this is an amazing thing that this little town's doing, and I think we continually need to thank Chess.
That project of that will estimate it start when?
Yeah.
It's already underway.
It is. That's what I thought. Okay.
This is for the,
Okay.
The parking
This is-
structure.
this is for the closing of the new market transaction.
I got you. I thought we were underway, so.
Which we're shooting to, the current outside close date, we have to close before the end of the year. We're
Right.
shooting for the second week of
Okay,
December.
good.
And Connor Cruz, as Corey mentioned, has joined us by Zoom. He is with the law firm of McGuire and Woods, who have been leading us through the new market tax credit process. I didn't know if there were any legal
I don't
questions,
see
but.
him up there.
He's up there, but, sorry.
Okay.
It looks like I got me.
All right, so we've got a motion and second, apparently no more comments or questions. All in favor of entering into this resolution as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Corey, let's send that along. Next, we've got a proposed direct sale of property at 116 West Peterson Street. And this is connected with the Golden Freaks property that is also located at, is that located at 116 or is that 122?
116 is the contiguous parcel for the fire station, and 122 is the Golden Franks property.
And I'm gonna hand this over to Town Manager Corey Gooden to explain the direct sale of this property, which does involve a property exchange, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Mayor. Representative Laura Rogers is here with us also from the State Historic Sites. If there are any questions or concerns about the project. But over the last 90 days, we have been working directly with State Representatives Daniel Sampson from from the North Carolina Department of Administration, as well as Laura Rogers, the Director for the State Historic Sites here in Edenton, to finalize a proposal for the exchange/sale of properties located at 116 and 122 West Peterson. The 122 West Peterson property, more commonly known as the Golden Franks property, does have certain encroachments on that parcel located at 116 West Peterson. The state DOA, as well as the local historic sites, has requested this exchange between both parties. This exchange would be for 5,160 square feet of the 116 West Peterson Street property to the state of North Carolina, and 3,378 square feet of the 122 West Peterson property to the town of Edenton. A survey was included in the agenda packet, and due to the difference in the land exchange, the town manager is recommending a sales price of $4,675 in the additional land acquisition exchange. I do recommend the council approve the exchange and partial sale of these properties between both parties. And once council determines if they would like to move forward with this, this is really the first step for Laura and I. There'll probably be at least another 90 to 120 days on the state side, once they're given the green light from the local municipality here that this exchange is okay locally. Laura, anything you want to add as far as the project or the exchange?
Just thank you for bringing it to everyone's attention today. We're excited to acquire this property in order to provide a larger area for us to provide education for the town of Edenton and public services. So thank you for considering.
Is there any intent to build a structure or anything on that parcel that you're acquiring, or what's the
The strip of property is currently on the right side of the structure if you're standing in front of it. And the current property line actually runs where the HVAC system is sitting. So the HVAC system isn't able to be on that property, but no additional structures are intended to be on that.
And visually, one thing to add, if you look at the existing street front of the 122 West Peterson Street, historically, there was fencing that was well within the 116 property boundary that actually looked as if that amount of property was with the 122 West Peterson Goldie Franks site. And so it actually visually appears as it should, survey-wise, was incorrect. And so this is just a cleanup effort on both parties to really.
Is there anything going on inside the property?
That's my next question. Is any progress made on the house?
Yes, in August of this year, we completed phase one, which was the structural rehabilitation and restoration of the property. It included reinforcing the foundation and also the exterior renovation, which was completed by Downey's Preservation. We are currently in the planning for phase two, which will be interior and mechanical restoration. It will be the plumbing, electrical, HVAC systems, as well as a few structural details on the interior of the house. So that's currently where we're at.
And when do you expect that to be, there's a timeline on that to be completed?
We hope to have the interior phase two process finished by late summer of next year. That's the current timeline. As you know, sometimes timelines don't work out the way we intend. But that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, and I just want to say this has been a lot of hard work with a lot of people. I mean, the Department of Cultural Resources has worked on it really hard. Michelle Lanier has, this is a project that's near and dear to her heart. We're mighty lucky to have Laura. I mean, she's, she shows up everywhere, which is something we're really excited about. And, I think this is honoring of the African American part of our heritage here, and it's a really important thing. And for those of us that are old enough to remember Mr. and Miss Franks, I mean, I think it's a great thing to have this do that.
Okay, any more comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion to approve the direct sale of the property and also the change of the property as proposed.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, move forward.
Thank you, Mayor. The next item is a resolution of intent to permanently close a portion of South Mosley Street. The town council in the town of Edenton is authorized by General Statute 168-299 to permanently close streets and or portions of streets. Adjoining property owners have petitioned to have their southernmost portion of the 400 block of South Mosley Street, which is currently undeveloped by the town, to be closed. And the town manager is recommending the council approve the resolution as presented. This resolution is the first step of that. There will be a 4-week period of advertising as well as a public hearing before our December 8th meeting for a final vote to consider closing this street.
Corey, could you talk about what we've done historically with the paper streets?
They've always, ones that have closed, this happened twice since I've been with the town, and historically there'll be a deed for the parcel prior to a paper street that was really overlaid, and whatever was originally there tied to whatever properties that are contiguous with the paper street, they're just basically deeded back to those.
Was the last one down by the ag building? Was there a street?
Yeah,
I thought it was Old
Yes.
Colony, wasn't it?
And we had
There was one at Old Colony, there was also one just south of the Ag Center. There's a brick house up on the
Cemetery
hill.
Street was north of the Public Works offices and the parking for the ag building, and then Banham Road was closed or relocated, and a portion of Hughes Street was closed for the CBS project. Those are the two, since I've been in the town, that we've done this with.
Is it customary for, I guess, whatever existing structure or owner of that property, is it customary for us to, do they buy it from the town, or we just?
No, it's just
always closed?
Yeah, it reverts back to a prior deed.
And that's a common practice in other municipalities as well, is that right? Okay.
So the prior deed
to research that? We already know that. We already know.
So we can have the deeds of both properties there. We can do a title search to find what those are, and then we should be able to find that at the courthouse to see what the prior survey plats look like.
I got you.
But it goes to the coroner.
Yes.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, no, I'm not suggesting.
Okay, so this is not a final vote in favor of closing the paper street. It's just a resolution of intent to close the paper street that will be advertised in the media for 4 weeks. The fact that there will be a public hearing at our December meeting and the final vote should take place then. Is that a correct procedural statement?
That's correct.
Okay, do I have a motion on the resolution and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. All in favor of the resolution, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Next, I hand it over to Corey Gooden, also the National Main Street Conference travel request.
Mayor, and there's no action here. The conference was in December, and early planning would allow potential for an additional representative to join the town. The National Main Street Conference will be held April 13th through April 15th, 2026 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Each year, the town of Edenton sends representatives of the town to represent our community and to help support economic development of the local Main Street nonprofit. With this year's longer distance of travel, I am recommending that council review the number of representatives to allow staff to start making reservations early to reduce the travel costs. In previous years, the council has sent 3 representatives to the conference. The town managers recommend that a minimum that we continue with 3, and what I would like to do is come back with the preliminary cost per to see if council wants to consider any additional representatives going with us this year.
And it was 3 or 4 years ago, Councilman Coleman joined us, and I think it was beneficial to have another council member there. So if it's not affordable to take 4, you're just asking for a minimum of 3.
Yes.
If we can't afford to take 4.
Yes.
And what we'll do is try to gauge the interest of the other council members, what your interest may be, and we will determine some fair way to select, and in future years, allow us to send 4. Maybe it can be some sort of rotating system so everybody can participate in that. So no action needed on that, is that correct?
And I'll try to provide everyone with an update very, very shortly about what we found with costs. We've actually already contacted some of the local lodging as well as the early bird rates from the previous years. Tally those up as soon as possible rather than waiting until after the first year.
And a lot of the projects that we're seeing now in Edenton, the ideas for those were generated from that conference. So, okay, next agenda item is the town manager's report. There was a total of 5 public comments received at the October 14th, 2025 full council meeting, the first of which was Leslie Casbaro. Proposed tax reassessments specifically for Airbnb properties, and our question were all those buildings treated as residential for tax purposes and any associated fees. The second question, how are these assessments going to be determined by varying property type and on timing since the last assessment? And the third, if they are considered as businesses, are they considered as businesses for utility deposits, etc.? For the first question, Airbnb properties are taxed according to how the property is zoned. If the property is zoned as a residential property, it would be reassessed as such. This is also applicable to commercial properties such as a rental on the second floor. Second, Chowan County determines the timing iterations for tax reassessments, and this is applicable to all properties located within the town limits. However, based on these values, the Edenton Town Council does determine the appropriate local tax rate. Similar to tax evaluations, deposits are also considered based on the property zoning, the applicable/permissible use, the ownership structure, and the application for services. These details are considered for deposits and deposits are determined by usage of certain utilities in a typical billing cycle.
These are guided by the town's customer service policy. Ms. Casparo also had some alleged statements of town staff and business representatives, and currently the town and the town attorney are working with Mrs. Casparo to discuss this further. Kermit Nixon shared the importance of the MOU of the high school tennis courts and specifically the care, use, and resurfacing of these courts. Mr. Nixon also shared the economic importance of these tournaments that are hosted. Mr. Nixon shared the importance of the MOU and requested the council's support. Council will continue to have these conversations with the county, the Board of Elections, and the management staff. Wayne Caskey shared a future vision beyond the monument. We want to thank Mr. Caskey for sharing this information and these details. The town will continue to work with Chowan County on this overall project. J.D. Grant shared information for local blood drive. Thank you for this. Mr. Grant, please continue to use this venue as an opportunity to share these type of events with the general public. Chess Chesson spoke about the 50th Annual Peanut Festival and wanted to thank you for these kind words, Chess. These events are a great success for the community and are due to all the work from our great local team. When we look at items considered timely and important, Mayor High reminded citizens about early voting and encouraged us all to get out and vote. We want to thank you all. We want to thank all the candidates for their efforts and congratulate those who were elected. At this time, the town plans to have the oaths taken at the first meeting in December. Councilman Costin thanked the electric department, specifically Jessica Combs, for all the hard work on the public power event. He also thanked Chess and the police department for the Peanut Festival event and asked about the lighting at Morgan Park. The staff did do a great job on the public power event and the Peanut Festival. We also want to thank the nonprofit partners for the Peanut Festival. The electric department did move the poles initially to allow the equipment to install for the Morgan Park improvements. I did speak with the electric director, and it did indicate that they would go out and see what fixtures are needed to be modified and what additionally would need to be added now that these structures are in place. With the time change, this is even more important for visitors, and this will allow us to see the needed improvements in darker hours. We should expect to see these changes very soon. Hunter and I spoke about this today.
For good. I was going to say it's still dark out there.
Yeah, it's very dark. Yeah. Councilman Bond asked if there was a way to flush water lines on Oakland and Freemason based on a complaint he had received from residents. And I have spoken with the town's ORC for the water system, and we do plan to make some changes to allow proper flushing in these areas. Councilman Miller stated that he had noticed a lack of work in the Hotel Hinton. If there was any update, at this time we have not received any official update as far as timing. We're hoping to speak with the developer to provide us with an update. I was going to ask Chess if there was any update from Main Street about the project.
I spoke with their local GC last week and that they're underway with construction docs. The state, from experience, about 6 months, quite a bit of money.
Councilman Sellers spoke on the Peanut Festival and crosswalks. Again, we wanted to thank you for these kind words. Again, great group effort to make the Peanut Festival. And as far as the crosswalks go, as of September 22nd, NCDOT is waiting on the funding approval. One update to share is they did have a sister project that was recently awarded, and we're hoping to have an update any time now on a very similar project within the Northeast. Councilman Costin asked if the bike path plan had been revisited. At this time, we don't have any updates from NCDOT on this plan. However, these were reviewed and discussed as part of the West Queen Street Bridge project for the design. Councilman Turner asked if there was a trial, if the trial was over on the deodorizer. Yes, the trial is over. We're finalizing the parameters for these seasonal changes we're experiencing.
It's all going to freeze tonight.
And these seasonal changes do affect the detection of these odors and or the ozone.
Have we got the price for them to do it?
Yes.
It's like 40 grand?
Yeah, so it is ours. We have requested to leave the detector here for a little bit longer to help us with parameters in which they've agreed to.
Tell me, need
Has it been better in the last 30 days?
It has.
I was down here all day, election day.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
That was
I
my
smoked
first
it the other
job.
day, though.
When I was 15, I was hired to clean the solid digester.
I heard that.
I don't care what it costs, we gotta look into that.
Okay, does that complete your report? Next agenda item is items considered timely and important, and to dovetail one of Corey Gooden's comments, I'd like to congratulate Councilman Miller and also Councilman Costin on the election results. I feel like we've got a tremendous amount of momentum at this time, and both of y'all have worked hard for us to be in the position that we are now, and look forward to continuing to work with both of you. And I really appreciate the stability that this council offers this town, and you two guys are an important part of that.
And Councilman Bond as well.
Thank you.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Don't mean to forget him. All right. Any other items that?
I have one. Harbor Town update, we don't get anything really on that anymore. I mean, I'm not trying to stir anything up, but we've
No, I
got
agree.
something out there they can give us. Are they in this building?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've had some discussions, there's some back and forth on some of the project designs that have come up as part of the infrastructure projects that we need to circle back to.
I agree, man, it's kind of getting old.
Just want to thank everybody who was involved in booking the bride. I thought you guys did a great job putting together, police, public works. Timmy Turner, the whole group, it was really fantastic. And it's great to see the community get together down there, and the little kids dancing, and everybody just having a good time. And thank you for all that you did. The other thing I want to say too, if we can make sure we put Dawson, Tyler on the agenda in January, I think that'll be the next quarterly update of the HIN. We just want to keep those quarterly updates going, so if we could put them on the agenda in January.
To discuss the HIN.
To discuss the HIN, yeah.
Maybe they could give us a report on Paradise Ride too.
One thing at a time, right now.
I mean, save development.
Any more comments other than that? Councilman Dixon? Okay, Councilman.
I'll make them quick. The first thing, Corey, is revisit a conversation that we had once before about the employee socials. They're still planning to do one before the end of the year. That's been something that I know a few employees have approached me about, is doing one.
Employees have approached you specifically about
doing the one?
The employee appreciation, the social that we did, I know it's over the summer or the fall or something
Don't
like
they usually
that.
have a Christmas party?
Yeah, we do, and we have one, and I'll try to circle back.
The one in Hayes was nice.
Oh, yeah, it was.
That was a nice
I
one.
missed the one last year.
You're welcome anytime to use that, so.
Maybe we can talk offline about that. But yes, we still do plan to have socials that way. The elected officials can have some.
They really enjoy it.
Yeah, I do too. Next thing is closing early. This past Friday, we closed early. I've gotten a complaint once before when we did it. Closing on a Friday without very, very little notice to the general public. A lot of people utilize that time to get off early, to pay utility bills and all that good stuff. What we're gonna do is give a proper notice, more than, a few hours before closing. I think that would be really helpful.
Okay.
And then, of course, the lights, I had that on my list as well for Morgan Park, because I saw that it was still dark out there. And then the last thing is a big thing, I've spoken to a couple of you guys about it. So due to the shutdown that everyone is experiencing, lack of funding for different things, including pay for federal workers and SNAP recipients, something that a few municipalities have done is waive the electric penalties or utility penalties. And so that's something that I would like for us to consider for this month at least, is to waive the penalties for this month.
And in order to do that, Councilman Costin, council would need to take action to change the customer service policy, if you'd like to do that. That'd be something that you would make that.
Hopefully, in the next few days, this thing is
Yeah,
cleaned up.
It could be retroactive if we did it, but it would be out of order to vote on it tonight. But if we can do it, put it on the possibly put it on.
Do we not
committee.
take those individually, case by case, though?
We do, and
Okay.
so we've worked through that in August and July and August to get through the transitioning rates, and we've also had a handful of calls from federal employees that we've
Have you
tried
got
to
any
work with.
concerns about that?
And there's been a discussion that I've had with a few. That's something I want to make sure that it does get
Continue
done.
the individual case by case, just a thought, you know, I mean, I think we do.
Well, why don't we put it on for further discussion at our second meeting this month? So it doesn't linger too long, and so that we kind of keep it at the top. Okay, there being no further apparent business of this body, I will call this meeting adjourned.
Glad you had us.